All right, man, peace. So it seems as though the mental and psychological wear and tear of having to coach the most high maintenance super athlete in professional sports, LeBron James, has finally taken its toll on Mr. Tyronn Lue. He has decided to step away from the team for quote unquote health reasons. We all know what that is, the stress of coaching Mr. LeBron James. It is what it is. Anyway, they're going to talk about it and I'm going to chime in.
Breaking news out of the NBA. Ty Lue is stepping away from coaching the team for the time being. This announcement came 2 days after Lue remained in the locker room for the second half of the team's win against the Bulls. Associate head coach Larry Drew will take over. Lue releasing the following statement. After many conversations with our doctors and Kobe and much thought given to what is best for the team and my health, I need to step back from coaching for the time being and focus on trying to establish a stronger and healthier foundation from which to coach for the rest of the season.
Let me say this. Would it surprise me if Tyronn Lue decides to not come back for the rest of the season? No, it would not. Especially if the team's play improves with his absence. To be quite frank with you, I've always thought that Tyronn Lue looked way older than his age. The brother's barely 40 years old and he could pass for 50. Early 50s. It's very clear to me that he has a lot of unhealthy habits. Just looking at him is no disrespect to the brother at all. But he has an excessive amount of lines and wrinkles on his face, a double chin. For a person his age, he should be in better shape than he's in. And it does show. So the fact that he's stepping away due to health issues is not a surprise to me. And then when you add on top of that, that he has to quote unquote coach the most high profile and high maintenance player in the NBA, arguably in NBA history, Mr. LeBron James, that is pretty much a recipe for health disaster.
I've had chest pains and other troubling symptoms compounded by a loss of sleep throughout the year. Despite a battery of tests, there's been no conclusion as to what the exact issue is.
And then beyond that, his coaching acumen is always being marginalized due to the fact that most NBA pundits assume that he's just the assistant coach. Skip Bayless is very fond of saying assistant coach Lue. And, I mean, he does not do much to alleviate or to disregard those sentiments because he does seem to allow LeBron to doldre him, unfortunately. But at this point in LeBron's career, 15 years in, being feted by the liberal media, it's very difficult to tell LeBron no or to sit him down and make him understand how important it is for him to play his role. Even though he has a huge role, he still does have a role to play. He is not the coach.
While I've tried to work through it, the last thing I want is to affect the team. I'm going to use this time to focus on a prescribed routine and medication, which has previously been difficult to start in the midst of a season. My goal is to come out stronger and a healthier version of myself so I can continue to lead this team to the championship we are all working towards.
I mean, look, the brother has a second chin, and I'm not saying that to be funny at all. When you have a second chin at that age, I'm not sure exactly how old he is, most likely somewhere around 40, 41 years old, you're not healthy. He needs to get his act together. I don't know what his diet is like, but as I've already stated, that when you compound that with having to coach LeBron James and the expectations that come with that, not surprised at all.
I greatly appreciate Dan Gilbert, Kobe Altman, our medical team, and the organization's support throughout. Stephen A., what will this mean for the Cavs?
Well, I think it's a good thing, to be quite honest with you. Tyronn Lue has been, he's had questionable health for quite some time.
I agree with Stephen A. when he says that it's going to be a good thing. I think that it'll be good for all parties involved. It will allow Tyronn Lue to catch a breather, to get his thoughts and his health together. It'll also give LeBron James another excuse.
Those of us in the NBA community, we've been well aware of this. Not all the specifics, but we knew that there had been numerous problems with his health. Periodically, people have questioned, heart issues and what have you, although we didn't know definitively. And out of respect for him, we haven't discussed it. We didn't really report on it ad nauseum or anything like that. If you recall, I alluded to it months ago, but we left it alone. That's his personal business, and that's certainly someplace that we didn't want to go. Even LeBron James was talking about it the other day, and while he was talking to the media, he had stopped short because he said he didn't feel comfortable getting into it too in depth because that was his place to do it, not LeBron James himself. And so, people that cover the NBA, this is not a secret. We've all been hearing about some health issues involving Tyronn Lue for quite some time. I can tell you that there were a couple of moments this year where there were people who were very, very close to him were incredibly scared because he just didn't seem right health-wise. He knew it, they knew it, and when drama would take place within the Cleveland Cavaliers organization, the kind of personality that he has, his willingness to take the bull by the horn and just address matters matter-of-factly with no fear whatsoever, he appeared at times to be a bit reluctant to partake of those issues.
Now, one would think, seeing as though Mr. LeBron James was well aware of the health issues that Tyronn Lue was suffering from over the course of this regular season, that he would be more reticent to go back and forth with Tyronn Lue in an argumentative fashion. One would think that. But clearly, he was not as cognizant, aware, or concerned about Tyronn Lue's health as he tries to act like he was, or is, or he wouldn't have been going back and forth with him on the bench like he was in Portland or in Toronto.
Simply because the stress could potentially have an effect on him health-wise. And so, again, we all knew this is not a surprise, but he's a great guy. He's a damn good coach.
That has nothing to do with the topic at hand, Stephen A. Smith. You're acting like you're delivering a eulogy. I mean, let's get it together a little bit. The brother is still alive. He's made the right decision.
We wish him nothing but the best in terms of his health. I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of the entire NBA community because he's got a lot of people out there who care a lot about him, respect the hell out of him, and have some love for him as well. And so when you look at it from that perspective, this is a good day because ultimately he's reached a point now where he has said enough's enough. I have to take care of myself if I'm going to be able to take care of this team in any way. It's one of the reasons that I've speculated on several occasions that this would be his last season coaching in Cleveland. It wasn't because of all the other stuff. It was because of his health. And so,
well, there must be some other factors involved if you were specifying that this may be his last season coaching in Cleveland. Because if it was just about health, you say this may be his last season coaching for a while, period. So as I stated earlier on in this video, there is a correlation between LeBron James and the stress that coaching a LeBron James brings to anyone, especially a coach that is coaching for the first time as a professional, and his health.
So now that the cat's out the bag, per se, and we're sitting here talking about this now, this is what the situation is, and it is very serious.
And that's another reason why any team that LeBron chooses to go to has to have a coach that knows how to handle him. That's why I stated many videos ago that should LeBron James go to the Los Angeles Lakers, expect there to be a series of changes on that roster and also in the coaching staff. They're not going to have LeBron James being coached by Luke Walton. They will hire David Fizdale.
Given that it's a serious health problem, the question, what kind of effect will this have on the Cavs, is a tricky one. Because if you don't say something like it's going to have a terrible effect on the Cavs because Tyronn Lue is a great coach, it sounds like you're not being respectful of a high-level professional and a human being, in a kind of dire situation. So I want to be very clear that obviously I, as everyone I'm sure, wishes Tyronn Lue good health and are very concerned if it's serious.
Right, but let's just get to the point, Max Kellerman. Once again, you're going to find a way to make this all about LeBron James's quote-unquote greatness and how they're not going to miss Tyronn Lue. So let's cut out the bullshit, cut out the middleman, and let's get right to the point.
And it appears to be, and he is an excellent coach who has won a championship. He's a championship coach in the NBA. There aren't that many guys who can say that. That said, Stephen A. thought it might be a good thing because they can get, because he's been suffering with this and now this will not be an issue on the team for the time being, maybe in his absence. I don't think It's going to make a difference for this team because I don't think the team was going to get out of the East with or without Ty Lue.
Now, that's a better point. That's more relevant.
You look at this team since LeBron James has come back. It's really LeBron James's team. And he's the de facto coach no matter who's there.
There you go. I knew it was going to come back to your boy LeBron. These LeBron James super fans, they always make it about how the coach is irrelevant anyway. So you know what? Since that's the case, why do the coaches get run through the mill whenever the team starts to struggle. It should be all put on LeBron. I don't want to hear about how it's not LeBron James' fault when the team struggles, since he's the coach, according to you.
They hired David Blatt, and David Blatt, you would say just based on the record, did a great job. You know, they went to the finals and won 2 games from a Warriors team, and they did it in the finals largely without Kyrie and without Kevin Love at all. LeBron James put on a show, and they got to a Game 6. That's amazing when your second best player is Matthew Dellavedova, who's a competent NBA player, but not the second best player on a team that can win 2 games in the finals. And then the following year with Ty Lue as coach, and now fully loaded, they came back and beat a 73-win Warriors team at Golden State. And Ty Lue deserves credit for that, just as David Blatt deserved credit for getting a team to a Game 6, insofar as he or Ty Lue actually got the team there. Because we know this is really more about LeBron James than any coach or any other individual in the organization.
Then why are you claiming that Ty Lue deserves credit when you clearly don't believe that? This is what I mean when I speak about the LeBron James superfan. And this is why it is so stressful for anyone to coach a LeBron James, because they know that they're never going to get the credit. They're always going to get the blame. People like Max Kellerman contributed to Tyronn Lue's health problem. That's what I'm getting at. People like him, people like Colin Cowherd, people like Nick Wright, people like Shannon Sharp. Those in the liberal sports media who go out of their way to fet LeBron James and take away any and all credit that they can from his coach, but will assign all the blame to the coach. That creates an extremely stressful environment. Extremely stressful.
So I don't think it'll make a difference. I don't, unless Kevin Love comes back as an incredible force, closer to the Minnesota Kevin Love than anything we've seen since. If he does that, maybe they'll make it out of the East to be slaughtered in the finals by either Houston or Golden State. And I don't think it matters who's coaching the team in that case. They don't beat good teams, not since the All-Star break. And I don't know how much that has to do with Ty Lue's health to this point. All that said, again, I just want to end by being very clear. I and others, of course, wish Ty Lue a speedy recovery and hope that his health, and wish him good health, and are obviously very concerned when we hear about this.
No, you're not. You're not concerned at all. You're just talking shit.
Well, I just think that the importance is, getting focused just strictly on basketball. Larry Drew has been a very, very high quality and capable assistant coach for many, many years in the NBA. He coached 4 years in the NBA as a head coach, 3 years in Atlanta, where he won about 55% of the game, but a disastrous situation in Milwaukee for 1 year. Outside of that, he's been an assistant coach. He's qualified. He knows the system. He knows the plays. They know him. He has a good relationship with the players. We'll see where it goes from there. Him with Phil Handy and the rest of the crew, they know what they're doing. It's just that...
Yeah, they know how to implement the LeBron James system, because that's all you're allowed to run on any team that LeBron James is on.
Just that it's a situation where it was a distraction. When you're worried about your coach's health and what have you, you just never know. Or the coach being the leader and in position to handle things, but somewhat incapable to do so because they're concerned about their very own health. That can be distraction. That could be a distraction. So now you don't have anything to worry about as it pertains to that. You're wishing him nothing but a full recovery. Right. You know that he's going to be in good hands. He's in Cleveland. They've got a great hospital there, great doctors and what have you. So that'll be fine. And then you, from that point forward, you just go from there and you focus on the game of basketball. And I think that this is something that will help them, because they know that he's going to be taken care of, while it's simultaneously they get to focus just on basketball. I don't think it hurts. I think it helps everybody.
Yes, I agree. It helps everyone. It provides LeBron with the excuse that he needs should they flub.
All right, we all wish Coach Lue a speedy recovery. Colby Altman had this to say about the situation. We know how difficult these circumstances are for Coach Lue. We support him totally in this focused approach to addressing his health issues. When we come back...
But anyway, that's it on Mr. Tyronn Lue and his health situation. Hopefully for him, he makes the right decisions. It's not just about wishing someone good health. It's also about hoping and assisting them in clearing their mind so that they make better decisions, because health oftentimes is a decision issue as much as it is a physiological issue. Hopefully he'll decide to eat better, exercise more, and separate himself from any overly stressful situations. So if I were him, I would not come back to coaching in Cleveland. Because just as Kyrie understood even before the season, they have no chance of winning. He is in a no-win situation, so he might as well step down permanently. But anyway, peace.